So, friends, we are back here again, and I want to share with you this time on how to create your sermons in Logos, as in the actual sermon. And I'm going to show you how to get that, the different ways to start that process. But let's just take it from here. All right, so we can go in to Documents, click on New, and you could scroll all the way down to sermon. Okay, that's one way to do it. There's another way as well, so I'm gonna come back out, and then we can go into not guides, tools, right? Go into tools, and you can go into sermon builder. Sermon builder. So let's just take it from here. Sermon builder, right? As you can see, it's up before us, and you will have to click on uh, this right here. All right, you may need to do that. And yeah, so how to go about this? Let me put that in. Yes. Creating your sermons, you realize that you don't have to get out of Logos, go into Word or whatever document, whatever you use to create your sermon, and then come back into to Logos. You can create, and this upgrade began with I think Logos 8, yeah, version 8, I think, right? And yeah, it was a game changer for a lot of people, right? For so many reasons. But let's say our sermon, our title, although yeah, we do start from the title. Let's say our title is Logos sermon, right? So that's our title, and as you can see, there is um a slide created right away. A slide is created. If I want to change that slide, I would go into what I would do. I would left click, and I would go into edit, and what you can do, you will find media, and you can change the slide. So whatever slide you choose here would be the slide that will go all the way down. So let's choose, yeah, let's choose this slide, Logos sermon. In here as well, I would, I would usually add, let's say, the book, Romans 6 and verse 8, right? Romans 6 and verse 8. And if I want to, all right, if I want to, I can put in the date, right? 14th of June, 2026, right? If I want to. If I don't want to do that, if I'm going to use this in church for a presentation, then I don't have to do that, okay? But I'll just leave it there. And when you finish, you want to click Update Media. And if you notice, right, if you want to see the slide, you can go into Slides, and it is there, right? It's the only slide, so it's right there. That's how it should look on the screen, right? Text is where all the text will show, and without the slides, you can't really alter anything here. You have to go into edit. You can create a handout as well, but let's just choose edit. Here You can also choose a template. I have templates there. So let me see. All right. I have some, what do you call, um, some lessons for Sunday school or Christian education. All right. I have some templates there. I don't usually save um, the templates for sermons, but I can, right? I can, but I don't usually. So I would not click on any of these. And yeah, I wouldn't click on any because it would give me a different template than what I want for the sermon. Okay. Uh, Suggest an outline, right? You can do that in with AI. Okay, suggest an outline from the passage and all of that. But again, you use AI to help you, not to do your work for you, right? Good. So you have your introduction, right? Your introduction would be here, and you can type in whatever introduction you need. If you're looking for a quote, right? If you're looking for a quote and a quote on, um, let's see if there are any quotes on Logos. Uh, right. So this is not necessarily right. As this Pearl, this is not necessarily the Logos Bible software, but it's the actual Logos, the word, right? But I just put it there to show you. So what you do, you would grab it with um, the cursor, right? Just right click, left click on it. Forget that's the left. Left click on it with the mouse, and then you would just bring it over. So if I have to bring another one, put it where I want it, right? You can put it wherever you want it, and it's there. Okay, and let's say you have main point 1. Okay, what you can do, you go over in the left column where there's normal, and you click the arrow, and you want to make this heading. You can make it heading 1, which would be very big, or heading 2, and the size would decrease the lower you go. So I will usually use heading 3, and that's okay. Now you notice there's a slide that is created. So if my point was Logos is useful, you see, there's already a slide created for it. Logos is useful. Okay. If I want to edit this, as in I want to anchor what I say, Logos is useful. Let's see, right here. Romans 6:8. All right. So if I want that on the slide, that will come up, and I will update media, and you will see Romans, it's in there. You want to see it bigger? Right. These are all the slides that I created so far. Okay. Back into edit. And then if you have, if you have some other points there, Logos is great. All right. So then you can go at the top left corner, click on the arrow. You don't necessarily have to do that. What you see, the shortcuts, Control Alt, and you can press the number. So you don't have to actually always go over here and click down. No, what you can do, once it's there already next to logos, right? Logos is great. The cursor is there. So what you can do, Control Alt and press the number. My number is 3. So press 3 and it creates the main point. Now you notice the outline is following on the left. Outline is there. And if I need illustration, if I need an illustration, again, I don't have to go over here to click on, I would click on 4 or 5. So I will use 5, right? I'll use 5, but I don't necessarily have to go over there. Control Alt 5. But look over here in the outline. Look at what is happening. You have the introduction, which is, that is heading 1. Now I would put that heading 3 as well, so it looks uniform. But look at what I did for illustration. Illustration is under logos is great. So I put it a smaller heading. Right, I put a smaller heading there, as you can see. If you want to include if you want to include something that is a quote, all right. So let me just grab something really quickly. And yeah, remember government. So if I want to take this, right, I will copy it, right? Copy it, sorry. And I will paste it here. So in pasting, you could right click or look at the shortcuts, right? And with doing sermon work on the computer, it's very good to learn the shortcuts, right? Makes work, easier and go faster. So I could Control V and it will be pasted there. So Control V and it's pasted there. Now you notice it's pasted as heading 1, but I don't want that. I'm going to put it to 0, normal. So it's a normal, there's no heading there. What I want to make it into a quote, right? And a quote is, or block quote is Control Alt 7. So if this is a quote, I could just come back over here and click Control Alt 7 and it turns into a quote. Okay, it turns into a quote and it is there. But let's say, let me just come down here. Let's say I want to put this same quote on a slide. Okay, here's how you create slides other than the headings. Okay, you can highlight it and you can click bold, you can italic, underline, right? Fill in is used when you're doing handouts, right? This here, clear formatting, never really use that, but here's where your slides are, right? Here's where your slide. So you can just click on this and a slide will be created. Now let's look at it. Let's go with the slide and let's see it. See, it's right there. This listen, this is a game changer. This is a game changer for those who prepare sermons weekly, because you know how it is to be typing out something or copying something from where we used to copy from the internet with the source and everything, right? We used to do all of that. But you know how tedious that work can be and time consuming. Logos has burst through all of that. Let's say you want, and you see the quote there is right there. But let's say you want to copy from a book. Let's say I have this book I want to introduce you guys to. complete gathered gold. All right, complete the complete gathered gold. All right, this is a quotation book. So you want to write that down. Complete gathered gold, a treasury of quotations for Christians. And I want to look at let's say the word. Word. All right. I don't think they would have the word. What they would have is scripture. Let's see scripture. All right. Let's see scripture. Let's see. All right. That's scripture. Right. So I want to copy one of these quotes. So this is from Thomas Adams. He that rose from the clouds, we expect from the clouds. No, this is no, sorry. It's the second coming. So let me just click on the Bible. All right. Faith will totter if the authority of the Holy Scriptures loses its hold on men. We must surrender ourselves to the authority of Holy Scripture, for it can neither mislead nor be misled. This is from Augustine. So if I want this quote, I'm going to do this, highlight it. I'm going to copy, right? Now, let me see what these three dots can do. These three dots, right? I was hoping there was an option to send to my sermon, but there's another option there. So I'll just click copy, and after clicking copy, come back to my sermon and control V, and look what happens. The quote is there, and also the book that you got it from is there as well. So you could, you know, in terms of copyrights and all of that, and plagiarism and all of that, plagiarisms and all of those things, those legal stuff that you have to deal with, and you have to give uh the praise to whom the praise is due, right? So Logos helps protect you from stealing somebody else's thing. You can use it, but obviously because it's in Logos, so you can use anything in Logos. But obviously the source is there, and you don't have to mislead people thinking and have people thinking it's your ideas, right? So if you're going to quote from this, you make sure to say, well, this is a quote from Augustine, right? And it's right there to remind you of that, okay? To remind you of that. So then with this, you can, with Sermon Builder as well, so you can have some questions, right? You can have some questions. Let me go down, right? And the questions will show up there. But in the edit, if you want to put a question there, what you can do is click right here, right? And it could, who was, right? So my sermon is kind of all over the place, right? But the point is, I'm showing you how to do these different things within the Sermon Builder. So you can put a question mark there. The other thing that you can do, I'm going to get to up here just now. But the other thing that you can do, and you need to do, put in the information. If this is part of a series, you put it in there. The topic, the passage, right? The date, the church, the time, and so on. I normally do that, and Logos is very helpful in helping me to store all my sermons, right? Without having to click save and wondering if your sermon is saved. No need for that, right? Then you can take stuff from your notebook, right? And say I click on this notebook, And let's say I want this to be in my sermon. This note, this last note, Matthew 25:13. What I can do, just insert it. You see? It's right there. So you can take a note straight from your notebook and put it into your sermon just like that. Your history will be how many times the times that you have used it. The quotes are there. Find popular quotes. So I will go in here, but I also, as I said, I bought the complete gathered goal. Yeah, you need that. And with AI in the sermon builder, what AI brought to the table um, is that you can create outline, right, from using the AI. You can use and create an illustration. So your illustration doesn't, it could be serious, it could be lighthearted, it could be historical, it could be biblical, right? And of course, all this stuff you can double check and so on. You can ask some questions, generate some questions, right, on your sermon. All right. So let's just try it. Let's try it. For teens, no, just for adults. Let's just ask some comprehension questions, right? Let's see what it can give me. Generate. Let's just see what it can give me. Okay, right? What does it mean to say that God and the Logos are together but not the same? According to R.C. Sproul, how is the Logos described? So you have your questions there, and this is really good for Bible study. I normally give a little test in my Bible studies, so this will really help me, right? And so on. I could use it. Clear results. Then applications. You can find some applications there. AI will be able to help you with that and all of that. So then you can do a number of things with the sermon builder. Well, the assistant here would be here. This is this assistant up here, and icon is the same thing. But the share, if you want to share your sermon, make it go public that persons can be able to view it, right? You can click share. But in preaching the sermon, if you click preach, it's going to take you out to your browser where you can actually preach the sermon live from your browser, and it will time you and all of that. Okay. Then there's the export. So you can print your sermon and you can export your sermon if you want to save it outside of Logos, right? If you still want to save it outside of Logos, you can export your sermon by clicking export, print export. And when you're here, of course, print is there. So you will set up your printer and all of that. But if you're going to send it to Word, you can click on rich text format. You can send it to Word, or you can send it here. Send to new document, Word document, and Microsoft Word will open immediately. But I would say send it to rich text document, and you can always open it in Word. Because if you send it here, you still have to save it and go through all of that. So I would say send it here, and then you can open it in Word later on. Okay. You can click the different things there. You can fit and all of that, right? Now I'm going to close this off. What else you can do in export? You can export to PowerPoint. So you could click export, and then you can, this one would export the slides, right? The slides will be exported. What you can do, right? What you can do, you can export it fully rendered, as in you cannot alter it. No, it will be really good, and Logos will do a good job in exporting it in such a way that there'll not be much need for adjustments, but you just never know, right? You just never know. Um, but you can also, which I would probably, I mean, whichever one works for you, all right? But I normally put it in editable text so I can make my adjustments, because sometimes I want to make my adjustments. I'm not ready for it to go straight from Logos to presentation on a pulpit or wherever. I want to make sure that everything is good and be able to make my adjustments, afterwards. Okay, so that's with export, and from here you have some other stuff that you have over there as well. Of course, you can delete the sermon, you can duplicate it, especially when you're going to preach a sermon another time, right? You may want to duplicate it so that, fresh ideas, fresh look at it, and come at it from a different angle, and all of that. Okay, so that, my friends, was just a little run through and overview of how you can use your sermon builder to build your sermons in Logos. Of course, you could hide the outline, you can hide it there, or you can show it. That's up to you. Okay, so if you do have any questions and comments, you can undo what you did, right? And if you have any comments or questions, you feel free to ask in the comment section. All right, don't forget to like and share. And we will continue next time as we continue to cover the Logos Bible software. All right, until then, this is Danley Duncan on preaching. God bless you.